This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Aaron Mate. To talk more about Walmart, we're joined by Josh Idelson, journalist that's covering labor issues for The Nations, reported from the Walmart shareholders meeting last week, also contributing writer for Salon.com and in these times. We are still with Kalpana Akhtar, Executive Director of the Bangladesh Center for Worker Solidarity, and Scott Nova, Executive Director of the Worker Rights Consortium. Josh Idelson, can you make a link between what Scott and Kalpana are talking about with worker conditions abroad and what's happening here, this growing movement around Walmart?
So in each case, we see a challenge to Walmart's business model, a business model that we see the most extreme consequences of in places like Bangladesh. When you talk to some of the workers in the United States, though, what they will tell you is the difference is just a question of what Walmart can get away with. So we see this push down on costs and this active effort to suppress worker organizing that has consequences that are dramatic and then has daily consequences in terms of the poverty of Walmart workers in the United States. In each case, though, we now see a challenge. And so we see a strike wave that's moved through Walmart's supply chain. We see Walmart retail workers, workers in Walmart contracted warehouses, and Walmart workers abroad making common cause and taking on the company. And we saw that in Arkansas when the strikers came to crash Walmart's party in Arkansas. One of the most dramatic actions I witnessed there was workers, along with Kalpana Akhtar, along with international Walmart workers, lining up across from Walmart's home office headquarters to sing a dirge about the deaths in Bangladesh, to read Bible verses. And as they did this, some of those thousands of Walmart employees that were flown in by Walmart started watching, listening, taking pictures. At that point, Walmart management started leading those workers in the Walmart cheer. Give me a W, give me an A, what does that spell, Walmart? They were having workers do this cheer as about 50 feet away you had workers chanting, which side are you on Walmart? Are you on the side of safety or are you on the side of murder?
Josh, what are some of the key complaints that our Walmart has against Walmart? And what do you say to the company or supporters of the company? I imagine saying, well, look, it's only 100 workers. It's a small strike. So
this absolutely is a small strike. The workers' main demands have been around wages, which one estimate pegged at $8.81 an hour currently, around health care, around staffing, which they say creates problems both for customers and for workers, and around retaliation against workers who organize. Walmart is right to say that this is so far a very small minority of workers who are active. What Walmart is not saying is that Walmart is doing everything in its power to prevent this from getting bigger. We see what in labor organizing we call carrots and sticks. So on the one hand, Walmart has begun to make moves at least to appear to address some of these grievances. On the other hand, you have these mandatory captive audience meetings where the company lectures workers in mandatory meetings about not getting involved. And you have over 150 allegations of illegal retaliation and intimidation against workers to prevent them from stepping up. And so when Walmart says it's not concerned, it's fair to say that they're bluffing.
And explain what our Walmart is.
So our Walmart is an organization significantly backed by the United Food and Commercial Workers Union. It's part of the array of alt-labor groups that are organizing workers outside of collective bargaining without demanding collective bargaining, but using mobilization, political, community, legal, media, pressure, and industrial activism like these strikes, which we have never seen at Walmart in the United States up until last year, in order to try to transform the company's business model.
Scott Nova, why are you here in New York?
We are here this week to meet with the controller of the city of New York, to participate in an event that he organized for investors, to talk about the enormous risks for investors that Walmart's reckless policies in Bangladesh are creating.
Who is also running for mayor.
John Liu. The failure of Walmart and Gap and other retailers to sign on to this critical fire safety agreement is not only, of course, extremely bad for workers, it's ultimately bad for the shareholders of these companies, because the risk to the reputation of these companies, if there is another fire, if there is another building collapse, is enormous. But the executives are acting recklessly, refusing to acknowledge that risk, and refusing to take the steps necessary to protect worker safety in their facilities in that country.
Kalpana Akhtar, as you travel the country, do you feel that there's a different awareness about what's going on in places like Bangladesh? And are you concerned that if you raise these concerns, that these corporations will just move to the next country?
In terms of the awareness, yeah, I mean, this is different level of awareness. If we consider like last 5 years, I would say that the consumers, they're the main part of this supply chain. So they are more aware than before. And of course, many things give awareness through the medias. So this is really a different level I can see in these days. So.
And the issue of whether Bangladesh...
Yeah, I mean, this is really a big point.
And we have 10 seconds.
Yeah, whether these companies will be moved. I would say no, because Bangladesh is the world's cheapest country in these days, and there is no alternative market for these retailers to move. So they should keep doing their business, but in the same time, they should sign this accord and make a safe working place for our workers.
I want to thank you all for being with us. We're going to do part 2 right after the show and post it at democracynow.org. Kalpuna Akhtar, Bangladesh Center for Worker Solidarity, Scott Nova, Worker Rights Consortium, and Josh Idelson, Rights for the Nation and In These Times and Salon.com.